Hey everyone, how are y'all doing? Happy Monday. We've got 100 wish lists. 100 wish lists for fantasy football tactics. Pretty pumped about this. It's awesome. I'm pretty pumped. I know it's small potatoes for a lot of people, but 100 is a lot for me. I started this project like 8 years ago, and so I've just been living in this little world off and on. Most of that time, I was still, at a traditional job. And I had become a dad, so I wasn't working on it a whole lot. But I've been working on it full time this year. Launched the Steam page, and so after 8 years of like building this in complete isolation, to have 100 people out there that think it's worth an email notification when it comes out is pretty cool. So if you are one of the ones that wishlisted it, thank you so much. It means a lot to me, and it helps me out a lot. So, all right. So today on the stream, we're gonna build a new ability. I posted a poll on YouTube because they have like a little post like social media feature, and the consensus was that y'all wanted to see a new ability. So we're gonna build a new ability today for the striker. So this is the striker right here, this guy. Yeah. So I hope you're having a good day, and we'll dig into this here. So the striker, if you're familiar with soccer, or as like a lot of people in the world call it, just football, the striker sort of like, plays up front and tries to score. And in my game, it's sort of an amalgamation of like a soccer striker as well as like a running back slash wide receiver in American football. I went through a lot of like design and iteration, and when it came down to like trying to represent a running back and a wide receiver in a turn-based game, I kind of kept coming up with the same archetype over and over again of like, it's just a character that is like really strong, especially when they have the ball and they're like really good at scoring. And so I kind of merged the two together into the single position, or three together, I guess, into the single position. So most of their abilities are going to only be active like when they have the ball. And yeah, so their current ability, let's see, I guess that's on the computer team, but their current ability is called stiff arm. So if they have the ball, they can push an adjacent unit off to the side and like kind of gain extra movement that way. So that's pretty cool. And the new ability today is going to be called Chasm, and I'm still kind of designing it on the fly, but the idea is that if they have the ball in their hand, they should be able to traverse over like any kind of gap as long as there's like sort of certain rules obeyed. So in this case, they would actually be able to traverse, I think, from like anywhere up here, like this kind of hill, over to like this flat area. So then you would have this strategy where you could hang the striker back here and then like pass them the ball. And then on their next turn, they could like basically teleport over here somewhere that is an equal height and there's nothing but like a gap underneath them. There's another level that I sort of have in mind for this that is still sort of in progress, but the bridge level has a really good like use case for this. And you can see it right here. So there's kind of these stairs that come down. And so the idea is that the computer's playing. Yeah, so the idea is that if you were to get the striker down here or even up here on any of these steps, they would be able to warp to the other side with like the equivalent height. And so you could like really bypass a lot of the stuff going on here in the middle, which I think would be cool. So that's what we're going to work on today. And I think we can get started. Let me just check one thing here. Also, I'm like trying a bunch of new stuff with the audio today. So if you're out there and the audio is awful or if their music's too loud, don't be afraid to let me know, because it's definitely like a work in progress here. Hang on just a second, I'm going to listen to this. I think the music might be a little off. That music sounds just a touch loud. I'm going to fix it. Don't worry. All right, let's try that. All right, cool. So I've built a couple abilities on stream before, and there's sort of a pattern to it. So we need a couple of things. We need a new icon. We need some localized strings, one for the name of the ability, one for like the hint text that shows up. So the hint text is like this ever-present tutorial sort of text that's shows up in the upper left-hand corner. And I really like it because it's just like on demand and in context pretty much always. So if I click like move and I'm prompted to move somewhere, then, you know, there's this helpful text right here. It comes up saying, you know, select the destination and the range is dictated by their move and jump skill and that kind of thing. So we need to have some text for this as well. And that all needs to be localized. So we can work on that first. And let's see here. Yeah, let's just start with some code, I guess. So I've been making a lot of good progress on the game too. So I have some new stuff to potentially show off. I'll do that later though, if you want to see. Okay, so Chasm. So I have an enum here called unit action type. And this is just an integer that basically just represents every single ability in the game, whether it's a special ability or a standard ability. And then a bunch of stuff is driven from this. So I have utilities that can map this enum into, like I said, the localized strings that we need. I also have a mapping into the sprite icon. And then these are also used for like equipping abilities, and it's going to be used for unlocking abilities. That's some of the stuff that I made some good progress on last week off stream. So it's definitely starting to feel much more like a game, which is awesome, with like a full loop. Okay, so we have this Chasm here. So now let's pop into Unity. And pull up our localization table. So I think like we have this frost action name here. So we need one for Chasm action name. And this will just be called Chasm. In English, it'll be called something else, obviously, in other languages. And then have this other table for action hints. So we'll do Chasm action hint. So this one's hard to describe, but maybe I'll just go for it. So with possession of the ball, should I call it football? I don't know if I like refer to it as ball or football. Oh, I think ball. Pitches the ball to a teammate. Okay, just ball. Makes more sense. With possession of the ball, moves this unit immediately across a chasm to a tile of equal height in any adjacent direction. That doesn't make sense. It's like any of the cardinal directions in, I hesitate to say any direction because it's not going to work diagonally. Although maybe it should. That would be kind of cool. That's my one concern with this ability, is there's not going to be enough opportunities to actually leverage it. But I want to build some specific fields with this ability in mind, not only for the player, but for like the CPU, the AI to use. Let's see, with possession of the ball, moves this unit immediately across a chasm to a tile of equal height. And then, yeah, like I guess defining a chasm is like it has to be a dip. So like if there's anything that kind of blocks your way, then you can't do it. I think that I want to let you go through other players though. Moves this unit immediately across a chasm to a tile of equal height. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just start with that for now, and then as it evolves, we'll probably need to come back and we can see in playtesting if this is descriptive enough. But that's good for that. And then real quick here, I need to at least get something in place for like a icon. And I usually start with just like Google material assets and then kind of go from there. So let me just see what we have. I'm almost thinking of representing like a valley or two mountains or something like that. So let's see, like, do we have, you know, like there's a good mountain icon. Or like a dip curve, like let's see, hill, drop, and drop. I think let's see, just like a curve, yeah. I don't know, I'm gonna pull down the mountain one and see. If that like works. Let's see. There's landscape. It's probably closest. All right, I gotta pull this into just someplace in Git for myself here momentarily, and I will pull it up on screen for you all. All right. Go. All right, there it is. Okay, so here's the mountain. And so this is the sprite sheet I was referring to earlier. So as that, if we look in that enum, like the square is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and like our last one was frost, so this is frost. So let's move this over here. There's not like a ton of space here, but I'm thinking, and I should probably just snap the grid back on. Something like that size. Let's make this white. Give it the standard drop shadow. I really want to move these drop shadows to Unity, I think. I don't love having them baked in here. My issue with Unity is it might hit performance a little bit. So I want like 2 of these on either side. And then since this is a ball ability, I kind of have this indicator. Like I want this iconography on all of the icons for any ability that requires you to have, or that unit to have the ball. So this needs to be in here, and this is like already getting pretty busy, but I don't know if those actually look like mountains. But now I think all I need is sort of just like a curved arrow like that goes between the two. How can I do that? So if I have this line, can I change? And then let me change this to like a white stroke, and then I need it thicker. Well, oh yeah, that's working. Similar to how I want it to. It's just not rotated right. It's kind of weird. Is that really what I want? I think that's actually what I want. Nice big arrow like that. That a little smaller. Something like that, maybe? Hey, how's it going? We never cleared it up. Last time you were on stream, I was trying to ask you how I should refer to you. I can call you Digital Workbench. I know you have other names. I could come up with like a shorthand, like digital or something like that. Let's see, could steal the arrow from the fourth icon. Oh, like this guy right here? Yeah, I sort of have two different styles of icon here. This is for pitch, which is intended to be like a backwards looking arrow. Could sort of mimic it a little bit like that. Doesn't look good. Oh, it's going up. Hang on, let's put this back. Oh, in the second row. Oh, this icon? I could, yeah. Actually, that's a really good point because this is, I assume you're talking about this one. If you're talking about this one, that's a really, really good idea. And in fact, I think I'm just using, was it this one? It doesn't look good either. Next to the sheep, this guy. Aha. I could. I was thinking this one's actually kind of a good idea too, because so this is the icon for the ability called pull. And pull is a blocker ability where they can basically go anywhere horizontally on the line that they're on to an opponent and then slow them down. And so it was inspired by like pulls and trap blocks in American football, where an offensive lineman will like kind of like shift over. And this is the icon I used to like say that they go over. So I should maybe be more consistent with that. But this arrow looks really nice, doesn't it? So I should probably just swipe that. Now the question is how can I isolate just this part? Is there like a lasso equivalent in this tool? I don't know. Or if I can like disconnect the path? No, that's not what I want. Let me just see if I can do this, and then can I like shift select these? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Let's try that, see if that works. Oh, what did that do? Here, I'm just gonna copy and paste this and delete the ones I don't want. I'm a software engineer, not a graphic artist, so bear with me. There we go. Okay. And then let's flip this. You can actually just rotate it. Oh, there we go. A bit big. But that looks sharp. Yeah, good call. Good call, Digital Workbench. Yeah, it is good. I think it's probably, I don't know, this one I just like, a lot of these I just kind of throw together a little bit quickly, so I'll probably need to come back and clean some of these up. All right, now this is a little bit obnoxious because I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe this just comes down one. And then I think it's like centered. So, okay, let's just put this in and see what it looks like. You liked it just before you moved it out of coming from the valley of the first mountain? Let's see, where do I need to put this? Yeah, here, let me at least get something exported here, and then let's maybe take another quick look at it. Hope you had a good weekend, by the way. All right. So let me undo this a few times. Oh, like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice too. I see what you mean. One, two, three, four. Okay. Good. How's your tutorial coming? Is it done? I haven't seen any posts about it. So next I need to add this thing in the unit action builder provider. Now this thing is still a mess, but I was alluding to like some progress I made last week on cleaning up some of this stuff. And this is like, I'm really excited about this. You can only get so excited about it, a hard-coded dictionary, but I'm pretty excited about it. So this is actually the first time that I've had like a formalized list basically saying, here are the thrower abilities, here are the balancer abilities, etc., for each of the different 8 positions in the game, which positions in my game are like classes or jobs, you know, from other tactics games. 2 parts are in queue. Might have to contact John to see if he saw them. Cool. Does John like edit everything for the entire site and give guidance, like review it, all that kind of good stuff? I'd assume so. I don't know much about like journalism or like formal blogging like that. But yeah, this is cool. So so in addition to like this mess here, which I'll be able to clean up anytime I want now that I have that other list, I'll need to put the ability here too. So let's actually put it here. And I'm still working through the game design of like what your starter abilities are. If they're hard-coded or if you get to maybe pick them, or you'll get to pick your starting classes. I've decided that, or your starting positions. But if you get to pick your starting ability as well, or if that's more like random. But for now, I have a default that just says, like for a lot of for a quick match, it'll just use whatever the first one in the list here is for the strikers. So we'll put that in here now. Yeah, he has the final say. Oh, cool. Yeah, awesome. So you like beta test the tutorial for you and make sure it actually makes sense, so that like the readers that he's worked so hard to garner trust in don't like go check it out and like just fumble immediately. That makes sense. That's cool. Well, let me know when he approves it. I'd like to check it out. All right, so here's Chasm. The ability type. This stuff doesn't matter. I like need to clean up some of this stuff. But we'll just make it accurate for now. There's some holdovers and leftovers in the ability system design that like it's just dead code. It was speculative and it helped me. I did a lot of the design for this like through code. As I mentioned, I'm sort of a software engineer by trade, and so after like almost 20 years of coding, I think really clearly through code and pseudocode and stuff, just like modeling things out. And so I did put some stuff in here that was used kind of as a sketch, and then once I'd like productionized it a little bit more, it totally just isn't used anymore. We'll work with it today. So let's see. The closest ability that we have to this, as I mentioned, is this pull ability. So I'm gonna like, it worked really well last time. Just kind of getting this working. What did I actually? Or this isn't even used here. Let me put this in here. Thank you so much for that. Autocomplete, that was not at all. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Why is it not letting me? Oh, because it's new. My bad. All right. So there's a couple of differences in here though. The ability range is going to be really weird. I think it's going to be anywhere. Well, no, it's going to need to be a dedicated range that like checks for the chasm. So we'll just leave this the same, I guess, and just get this up and running, like I said. Yeah, okay, so this should actually all work. And then let me make another change for all of the starter units in the game to have the position of striker. Those are not the ones I'm looking for. Where are they? They're in scriptable objects. Yeah, these are all like the default ones. And right now the position is hard-coded. But I finished, I think, the game design that I want for how it's going to work when you actually change positions for a unit. So you can like level them up in one position for a while and maybe learn one or two abilities, and then you can switch them over to something else. And so I'm going to start implementing that probably off stream, because it's going to require a lot of thought and focus. But once it's up and running a little bit further, maybe I'll bring it on stream and be able to show it. But what part of that process is going to be changing this position here from being hard-coded to dynamic within the game. Okay, so these guys are all strikers, and they're all going to have that chasm ability. And this is probably a reasonable test for it. Hey, there it is. Looks a little tiny. It looks a little tiny. I think the arrow is probably good, but maybe the mountains need to be a bit taller and the ball needs to be bigger. And then let's see, I can actually use, this is a cool mode. I don't know if you've seen this, Digital Workbench, but I implemented like a full control mode that lets me like modify the state of the game pretty easily. So this is like the pull ability. So it's actually working. Oh, I didn't read the text. to see if that's working. Let me read it real quick. With possession of the ball, moves this unit immediately across a chasm to a tile of equal height. Yeah, so that all looks pretty good. All right, let's do one quick iteration on that icon. Okay, one of the mountains could be a ball. Maybe it could be a ball. Could be a ball. I really want to communicate. Yeah, like, what do I want to communicate? I think first, yeah, let me just make these bigger. That's centered. There, that's centered, I think. Okay. Because, like, I could... Yeah. Yeah, it's really about, like, the you're going from one bit of land to another bit of land. And then I don't mind this icon being just kind of, like, floating. Like I said, I'm trying to just train the player that if you see this ball icon, then the ability is not going to work. Like, you won't be allowed to use the ability unless you have the ball. Move that over just a little bit. I think overall, I think I like how it looks. I think it was just too small. Let's try this one more time. Did I export it? I think I did. Oh, you know what else I should do? I always forget this. All right, it only takes once or twice for me to remember. Skip the intro. It's a cool effect, but it's not cool when you're debugging. Oh, wait. Does this guy have stiff arm? What? Hang on. What happened? Oh, maybe you know what? Okay. I actually said that they get a random starting ability. I lied to myself earlier. I totally lied to myself. I should probably change that just to make sure everybody has Chasm. So let me go back. Let me figure. I just put this code in last week and I already forgot where it goes. So get special abilities for the position. Ah, yeah, that's right here. Random element. So that's probably one. Like that. It's kind of a fun mode if you're doing a quick match, just something that is supported in the game, where it's like just quick match. Like give me random everything, like random positions, random abilities, and go play a game and see who wins. But so I'll probably keep that there and not commit this. Okay, now everybody should have Chasm. And now it defaults to the first one in the list. There we go. Cool. The icon looks good, I think. That looks good. The ball is about the same size as it is for pitch. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, let's move forward and actually get this thing to work. How's it going to work? Okay, so here's the thing about this one. I think every single ability up to this point, with the exception of move, which is treated differently than a bunch of the other abilities, requires there to be like a target unit. You're like casting a spell on someone, or you're throwing the ball to someone, or you're punting the ball to someone. But for this case, there's no targets. And so I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get this working on stream. So let's try. First thing is we need a new ability range, and that's really where the logic is going to go that detects like, is there a chasm to cross? And it will sort of guide the rest of the way. And I think the other thing is that we definitely don't need this second action here. Like all it's going to be is a movement. So the list of things here is like what effects happen for the ability. So it can be like it casts a fire spell and then it inflicts a burn status or like whatever. And in this case, it's really just a simple move. And we'll probably change all these animations here too. Like this is going to look really silly. It actually might even crash because of how I have things set up. So let's get a new range going. So this is going to be, I guess, chasm range for now. And we can take this as a template. Going to be somewhat similar. Oh, should I call it? I guess it's an ability range. Let's pick this up for autocomplete. All right, cool. And then this is going to be different. So this current implementation is getting like the move stat for the unit and then finding all the tiles within that distance. For this new one, I want to start where the unit is and then sort of go in all 4 directions. And if there's just no tiles in between, then you can like kind of keep going. Or if every tile that you encounter is a lower height than the one that you're on, then you can keep going. I'll set a bound like of, I don't know, 25 or 30 in each direction so it doesn't do too many iterations. The area of effect, valid primary targets. Yeah, I guess it's just the unit. Maybe I'm gonna have to see how this actually works. All right, so let's just go for it, I guess. Do I have like a cross ability. This has a pattern that I like for going in each of the 4 directions. Do you have a line ability to start with then? Yeah, yeah, there's a few line abilities. I got there eventually. I think I got there like right before I saw the chat come in. But yeah, this is a good one. This cross ability basically enumerates all the 4 cardinal directions in the game and then like iterates through each one. So I can use this. So we have our 4 directions. We can just, we're not doing primary and secondary tiles here, so we just do tiles. The scene first thing, I don't know that I need this. I'm just gonna simplify this. It's gonna be from tile. Oh wait, hang on. I do need one other thing. So let's rename this to tile next tile equals from tile. That's right. Yeah, get it unsafe. And then if it's null, or the next tile dot height is less than from tile dot height. Oh, and then I need like a break in here too. Let's see, well, next tile's no, or the next tile's height is less than from tile. Then you can kind of keep going. And then the second that it's not, then I basically say if next tile doesn't equal null and next tile dot height. This might be too restrictive. But then I add it if it has equal height. All right, and then yeah, let's call these valid tiles. I want to put a counter in here too, so let's just have a like max range. Just say 30 should cover our bases for now. That code looks familiar. Probably need to invalidate a direction if you hit a tile that is higher, or don't count Chasm until you are X tiles lower. Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to do. So basically, like while there's either no tile there or the height of that tile is less than the one that I'm on, then just keep going. And then as soon as I find a tile that is either equal or greater height, then it'll break out of here, and then it'll do this additional check and say, okay, if there is a tile there and the heights are equal, then we're good. Otherwise, like, there's no chasm. Or it's like you're going to run into a wall, so you can't do it. So max range, and then let's see, counts probably needs to start here. So for each direction, we'll start the count at 0. And I'll say while count is less than max range, and this stuff, and keep going. And then in here, we'll do count plus plus. You need to be, yeah, edge of a chasm, but it's going to be a pretty loose definition, I think. So like, even if the next tile is just like a simple like slope down tile, then that is going to technically be counted as like 0.5 lower height than the tile that you're on. And so it'll be, by this algorithm, it'll be seen as the beginning of a chasm. So as long as like you keep traversing in that direction and you don't run into a tile that's of larger height, then it will assume that there's still a chasm there. But if you run into a tile that is higher, then it'll break. It'll break out of this, I think. But coding is really hard, so I could be totally wrong. I think that's what this is going to do, though. Yeah, I actually think this is it. This actually just might work. I don't know. I think it's going to compile. If it compiles, we should test this. I think this might be it for at least like the first iteration, and then we'll see if it actually works. So the same line ability range, we're going to have a new chasm ability range. Default unit filter always affects success. Move adjacent. No op. Now this thing is gonna fail. It's gonna fail because this ability animation actually does pathfinding, and the rules that we just outlined are like not. It breaks all pathfinding. So we can't pathfind our way and have an animation there. We're gonna have to have something custom. But I don't want to get bogged down by that right now. I just want to get this working, so we can come back and do animations in a minute. Do I have a no op ability animation? Casting, oh, default. Move, swap. Wow, I don't have a no-op one, huh? I should have a no-op one, at least for testing purposes. Let's do it. Ah, caps lock. So I use a bunch of like lambdas, is sort of what they're called, like actions and callbacks and stuff, especially for all the animations. And it works really, really well from like a code organization perspective. But the one bug that I always write is I forget to call the callback. And if you forget to call the callback, then the code stops working. I can usually catch it pretty quick, but not always. And so that's why there's like, these things are all encapsulated. So no-op ability animation will basically just perform the logic changes. I don't know that I really need. Let's not do that. It'll just perform the changes like without any animation. Oh, it doesn't like something. Does not implement. Right, because I'm missing this include. Yeah. All right, great. So let's use this instead. So no-op effect animation, no-op ability animation. The difference between the two is that the ability animation runs before and after all of the effects. And then the no-op, the effect animation runs like during that effect. So if that makes sense, because you can string multiple effects together. You did a simple search method that just returned range without history, so I could go over gaps and such for teleport. Did a simple search method. Interesting. I would like to know more about what you're saying. So a search method, like you queried the tiles, like the tile set somehow? And then in history, that history is, I'm curious what you mean by history. History to me means like, you know, like going back in turn order or something like that. You have me intrigued. Very intrigued. Go on, continue. So history of every tile was just the start tile and returned, oh, and returned anything within distance. So like, you're basically just saying Dijkstra. Let's go full control mode. Previous tile and search. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's give this guy the ball. All right, moment of truth. If this is gonna work, then this little tile right here should light up when I press this button. Is it gonna work on first try? I'm nervous. Okay, it's highlighting him, and that's not lit up, but nailed it. Let's ship that. I think that's exactly what I wanted. Go back one tile. That's perfect. Oh, man. What happened there? Okay. We're gonna have to dig into this. So valid primary targets. Okay, so it's still pathfinding, but it's all going to one tile. So if it's 6 tiles away, the previous tile is still start tile. It doesn't go through the others to get there. Okay, so you're saying that so if it's 6 tiles away, the previous tile is still start tile. Doesn't go, oh, you just like bypass anything in between. You're talking about for like the animation to go across. Yeah. I'm gonna build an animation that just takes like the current tile and the end tile and then just like interpolate really quick between the two. with like a cool whooshing sound effect. So there's not even gonna like any sort of pathfinding that I need to do or validation is gonna happen within this range check, I think. And then I'm just gonna like assume that you go straight there. I have done similar things to what you're talking about, I think, for like the swap ability that the Game Breaker has. And I think it makes sense. Okay, so this is really interesting. I want to see build action for tile. Primary targets, secondary targets. Yeah, so this is like if there's no valid target units, and this thing, like the whole ability system just doesn't work. So I need to think about how I want to bypass this check so that I don't need a valid target. I thought that there would be get possible target tiles, ability range, get possible target tiles. Do I have that implemented properly here? Get possible target tiles, so this works. Or at least I think it works. It might not be right. I can at least debug log account here to check that. Let's see. Valid, oh my gosh, valid tile count. Okay. And then for valid unit or valid targets, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Let me look again where all this was used. So build action for tile. Oh, I see. Is this returning a list of units? Yeah. So I really need this to like not return anything. And then I'm gonna need a new concept, I think, where it's like, let's check for these first, but then in this interface for ability range, I'm gonna need, you know what I can do is just kind of like reuse this and say, okay, these are the valid tiles, which is really what I want. I probably just need a simple Boolean here that just says, you know, something like ability does not target units. Perfect name. So it's like ability is or only targets tiles, does not target units. Is it the opposite of pick up ball? Kind of. So in this case, the ability is limited to the unit. They're required to have the ball before they can use the ability. General movement in the game is handled outside of this ability system. For better or worse. So there are, or I guess, let's see. Do I have the class up here? I have something called a unit action ability, I think, or ability unit action. Here, this is actually a good, I know it's maybe a little small. If you look here, I have ability unit action, move unit action, and done unit action. And so these are like 3 high level things. Done is always done. It's just like a special marker that says my turn is over. Move is what you would expect, where it's I could implement this as a full-on ability now if I wanted to. Or actually, I couldn't because of this one thing that I need to fix. But after I fix this, I could probably move this over. And then the last kind is the ability. So at a high level, it just sort of allows me to do things like to get the predicted outcomes, to do a hypothetical execution for AI, actually attempt to execute the thing, etc. And so baked into moving is picking up the ball. Or actually, it's built into the game. At the end of any turn, it just looks to see if the ball is on the field, and if it is, and if there's a unit there, then they pick it up. I don't know if that answers your question, but how about we just say does not require target units. It's verbose, but it certainly makes sense to me. And then just for me, I can say, okay, when true, will move ahead without requiring any target units, i.e. can select empty tile or ability target, something like that. Hello. Welcome to the stream. All right, does not require target units. So let's check this. Right here. So if do I use Python? No, I do not. And let's see, it was ability range that does not require target units. Let's see if I use a bunch of different languages. I'm using C# to build the game. My favorite language? Swift is really good. I was an iOS developer for a long time, and I still am. And Swift is a really, really nice language. It's slow, though. They're getting it better, but yeah, Swift is really nice. All right, so valid target units count is 0, and let's see, I'm getting mixed up on my logic here. I think this is an OR. So let's see, if it's 0 and let me change this to positive, requires target units. It's easier to think. Requires target units. Then return null. I think that's what I want. Okay, and now this is gonna break. No, thank you. All right, so ally ahead, this is gonna be true. Most of these are gonna be true. One thing that I really like about Swift is that you can provide default values or default implementations for this kind of thing, which is nice. So in this case, I would just provide a default of true everywhere and then make it false for this one right here. It's too bad I can't do that in C#. Just as far as I'm aware. I looked at it at one point if there was any default implementation for interfaces. There's not. Same line. We're almost there. We're almost there. All right. Let's try this out. All compiler errors must be fixed. What did I miss? Maybe something just wasn't saved. Movability range. Still missing some, huh? Does this require target units? I think it kind of does. Across ability range. Oh, there's something messed up with the compiler over here. That's too bad. Did that get all of them? Cool. All right, let's try this. All right. Let's give them the ball. That's not lighting up. It's going to do the exact same thing, maybe? Valid tile count 1. Oh, weird. Okay, so the algorithm is just not right. Let's see here. Let's go back to Chasm ability range. So, oh, I see. This first one here always needs to be from tile. I think, and then I just keep going. And if it's null, let me see what difference that makes. And then this time I want to do a save state. Okay, let's go into full control mode. Enter, move you down here, and then give you the ball. Perfect. And then let's save this to slot 1. And make sure that worked. So we're gonna be doing this a lot. So debug quick save enabled, go quick save 0. Perfect. All right, great. So now if I click Chasm, valid tile count is 0. Oh, I know why. I know what's happening. I made a bad assumption here. So this get adjacent tile unsafe is going in each direction, but it's if like the tile's already null, it's not gonna like keep going. So I actually need to switch the algorithm over to being index based like this. So let's we can do this in one loop, I think. So we'll say int I equals negative max range until I is less than max range, I plus plus. Why doesn't it like this? Oh, it's because it's for each. Okay. And then I want to skip over, I guess, the from tile. Oh, wait. The rest of this was assuming that we start at the tile. So just thinking this through. We still kind of need to go in each direction. So Actually, let's start this at 1. Let's just get this working in like one direction first, and then we can make the code nice. I no longer need the count thing, which will be good. And let me get the index. So starting index is going to be from tile.index. This probably can even come out here. And so then maybe I want to go back. Or should I use the while? So the next tile is going to be, just start kind of saying, okay, so for x, let's just say it's starting to index.x, and then starting index.z plus I. And then while the next tile is null, or the height is less than that, then I just like keep doing this all the way over in that direction, I guess. Okay, and then that makes sense. This loop no longer makes any sense. That could be like going through our different directions, I guess. Like, I don't need these 2 loops. So hang on. Maybe loop, yeah, start to range and loop to multiply through 4 direction vectors. I think I'm thinking something similar, but I think this outer loop is going to be through the directions. And then I can generate like the relative offset that I'm checking from that for each var direction and directions. Then I say int count, I guess, equals 1. This is where I need that max range thing again. Something like that. You can actually start that as null. Okay, so while count is less than max range, and do that, and then count plus plus. And then it's like this offset is what needs to change based on the direction. So I could build like a little extension method for tile direction. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have to go through directions first. So I can make sure the width is like good. And I also like need to stop because it's like it's very like centered on like where the person is at the moment. So I could build a like a extension method for tile direction that gets me like a 2D vector offset multiplied by the current count. Let's try it. I must have something similar. Yeah, it's like basically just copy and paste this. It's something similar. This will be a vector. I guess I'll do vector 3. This will be tile direction offsets. Yep. Yeah, that's, I'm doing just ever so slightly more complicated than that, but that's the basic idea. This needs to be a vector 3. And then z pos will be like new 0, 0, 1. This way, if I ever catch up to you and end up doing vertical levels, I'll at least have the Y here. Okay, just like that. I think that's what I need. And then Chasm. So here what I want to do is say like var offset equals direction dot index offset times count. And then this will just be plus offset dot x plus offset dot z. Oh, why doesn't it like that? Because they're floats. Oops. Okay. Still doesn't like it. Cannot convert from float to int. They should not be floats anymore. Hey, yeah, thanks for stopping by and spending some time here. It's good to see you. Hope John's able to get to your tutorials. Appreciate having you here. I'll see you next time. I'm gonna try to stream again on Friday, so hopefully I'll see you there. All right, why is this? I wonder if I just like need to restart VS Code or something. It's like really stuck. Oh, is it actually working now? Looks like it's working now. Okay. It's just a stale compilation, I think. Valid tile count is still 0. Great. No plus plus. Oh, this really should be working. But obviously not. I'm obviously missing something. Let me make sure these offsets are coming in okay. I would just use the debugger, but it like takes forever for Unity to attach. I'm not sure why. So we should see, what would that be? 120 of these messages come through in Unity. Checking offset 100, checking offset 001, 100, -1. Oh, I probably screwed something up. Yep, hang on. I think I got my extension method wrong. Yep, this needs to be -1. That's probably the direction that that Chasm is facing, so that makes sense. I knew I was going to screw that up. Those simple things always get me. There it is. It doesn't do anything, but the correct tile highlighted. Why doesn't it do anything? Why doesn't it do a thing? I'm gonna close some of these tabs. Okay, move adjacent effect action. Oh, this is probably, yeah, this isn't. This is not at all what we want. So that's why it didn't work. But also, okay, those callbacks are invoked. Those callbacks are invoked. I guess maybe something just broke in here. So, okay. Do I have a move effect action? We just do or like change tile effect action. It's gonna be really bare bones. Let's pick this up. Let's see. All right. You're here. I appreciate you hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. Just working on a new ability today. So close to getting this working. So, oh, okay. I actually need to make this work. So in this case, oh no. Okay. This is where things are going to break down. So for an effect action right now, it's always acting on a target unit. And this ability does not have a target. So that's an issue. Oh, how am I going to get around this? I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I was so close to getting this working. Yeah, this assumption that there always has to be a unit, it's pretty pervasive. I need to clean that up. Let me look at one thing. Let's see if I can at least like work around this one issue. There was something I changed earlier. I'm gonna pull up Git. Look, where is that file? It's in ability, yeah. Ability unit action. Unit action builder. Okay, so these are both empty for this range. So I might just have to implement like a parallel line where there are no targets. I guess it's still an effect on the unit. Hang on, let's try something here. Let's pull back up that Chasm ability. So the unit that it's going to impact is the unit itself. Like casting. I wonder if this will just work. I mean, the effect action isn't going to work, but this will get me a little closer, I think. Yeah. Okay. I think that's actually what I want anyway. But now I need... Now the issue is still that this has no idea what target I'm actually sending it to. So I could just modify this to take in target tile, like an optional target tile that could be different than the target unit. And then I would have access to it in here. I think that probably makes the most sense. Starting to get a little bit like long here though. Okay. I think it makes sense. Target tile. This will probably be ignored in most cases. I'm gonna have to add this to a lot of spots. Now's a good time for questions if anyone has one. I don't know if I need to add it here. I don't think I need to add it here. I'm gonna come back to that. All right, so I have all these execute success. I can just go through and add this in right here. Yeah, I think this is gonna work well. I already put it in there. You know, what's funny is I've probably, at some point along the way, the API probably looked like this. I probably removed it because I was like, oh, I'm never using it. And how slick is it that I don't need that in here? Overthought it. I also think I can probably get rid of the new thing I put in that like is trying to bypass this scenario. So this isn't too bad. This opens up actually some cool stuff too I can do with other abilities where you could like put the ball somewhere that you don't want it, like that nobody is there. You could just like throw it on the ground. All right, so here this is where I still need predicted effect outcomes. This unit target thing is going to need a tile as well. All right. Ability unit action, primary target units. Okay, I think that's what I want. Oh, you know what? Instead of passing in a target tile here, I could pass in that whole like target thing that has all the information. Is that better? I'm not sure if that's better or not. Let me look at. I think it's kind of nice actually. It's gonna be a bigger change. I'll come back and maybe change that later. That would be a big change for now. Passing in target unit and tile. And just pass in the whole unit target structure. should do like a warning Wednesday or something and actually work on cleaning up some of these. There's a ton. Okay, so where was I? Yep, so this is going to be unit target dot tile here. Target tile? Where's target tile? Oh, I just have it there. Interesting. So I guess I didn't even need it in that other spot. Oh, I put this in the wrong spot. Getting closer. Nice. Fumble effect action. I don't think I need that anymore. Must have done the same thing here. Or no, just missed one. Is that gonna do it? Looks good. Let's try this out. Oh yeah, it's still like doing the wrong thing. So now we can go back to that move. What did I call it? Change tile effect action. Okay. And then here, simply, I can just set the tile for the unit to the target tile. That's how this one will work. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need any of this. But there is one thing I also need to change in the range, which is that the tile needs to be navigable. So, and next tile dot is navigable and it's empty. So like field state dot get unit for tile next tile equals null. What? Oh. Okay, so navigable, there's no unit there and the heights match. Then you can select it as a target. That'll clear up some bugs. Also introduces some strategy because you could block the person from going across the chasm that way too. Okay, moment of truth. Oh, it still went backwards. I think maybe I never actually updated the ability to use the new effect action. It's pretty funny though. Oh, I need a builder, right? No, builder provider, unit action. Builder provider? Yeah, here we go. Okay, move adjacent, this is it. So change tile effect action. Now that should work. Come on. I think it's gonna work. I feel good about it. Moment of truth. Haha! And then you can score. Oh, that's awesome. It works. It works. It needs animation and sound effects and stuff. That's really interesting. So to keep testing this out even further, if I'm like all the way back here and I have the ball and I do Chasm, then it should actually show up all the way over here because it's of equal height. Wow. It's working. Let's go to a different level and see if there's places where it would work too. It's not going to be useful in all levels, and I think that's okay. Because based on like what level you're on or who your opponent is, you're going to want to have a different loadout. And so you may just not want to equip this ability for levels that don't have chasms. But I think that there's an opportunity on this level to do it. Oh, I need to have like a little height indicator show up in the corner. That would be nice. But if I'm like right here, I think I can actually warp like all the way right over here. I think those are at the same height. So let's move him, give him the ball, and let's see. Oh, these are showing up. I don't want that. I need to fix that. But this is showing up. Boom. Wow, that's cool. All right. Let's fix it so that, one, I can get rid of some of those debug messages. And then I want to skip like the next tile. Or I guess what it is, I don't want to skip the next tile, but I want to make sure that if count is greater than 1. No, wait. It's always going to be bigger than 1. It needs to be bigger than 2. Because basically what's happening in that case is it's just getting the neighboring tile, and then this case is already failing here. So then it's coming on and saying, well, it's not null, it's navigable, there's nobody there, and the heights are equal. So it's valid. But we at least need to like go past 1 tile. And that's what this count 2 is. I should probably had a note. I'm not gonna remember that. Why 2? Because this will ensure that we didn't stop at the immediately adjacent tile, the not on edge of Chasm. Yeah. Let's test it again. I'm happy this is working. This is pretty cool. I wonder if the AI would use it. I think. Oh, whoops. I'm not sure that they would use it yet. Oh, that's great. So let me try that one more time. Can't tell if, yeah, he does get experience points. It's just like a little bit weird because of the animation. That's really powerful. It's like the equivalent of like a 1-hit kill. That's cool. All right. That's some pretty good progress for today. Whoa, wait. Whoa, the AI just used it. I wasn't paying attention, but it totally just used it. Because you can do that from the tile right here. Oh my gosh. My mind is blown. Hang on. Okay, I can rewind this. So I think it's going to do it again. Watch this. How smart. Boom, boom. It happened so quick. I didn't even like think it was a thing. Well, that's cool. That's a good note to end it on. That's a good note to end it on. All right. Wow. I didn't think the AI would pick up the new ability and use it so effectively, but it totally did. That's awesome. Wow. That maybe breaks this level design. So I'll have to think about that, but that's okay. The ability is working well. But if you're here, I really appreciate you stopping by. If you want to keep tabs on progress, I appreciate a follow or a like, or subscribe, depending on the platform you're on. So this has been pretty fun today. Building new abilities works pretty well, and I'll have a lot more that I need to do in the future. But I'm sort of almost done with the scope of abilities for the initial playtest because I really want to get people playing the game and get some feedback. It's like way too far along to not have more feedback. So I might have to, after like one or two more abilities, we might need to move on to other things. But yeah, anyway, so thanks for stopping by, and I should be back on Friday with another